So, hello and welcome to my talk here at Site 2026. I'm Professor Dr. Marc Beutner from the Chair of Business and Human Resource Education 2 at the University in Paderborn, which is in Germany, and I did all my research together with my research assistant Jan-Phillip Lüttke, who is involved also in the writing, or was involved in the writing of our paper. So today I'd like to present you some information about using generative AI in German teacher education in schools, and I'd like to start with some insights about the UNESCO and the EU. First of all, I'd like to address that the UNESCO in 2024 stated that artificial intelligence, AI, has a potential to address some of the biggest challenges in education today, innovate teaching and learning practices, and accelerate the progress towards SDG 4. And SDG 4 in this context means the Sustainable Development Goal 4 of the UNESCO, and this is to provide education all over the world. And moreover, we have to address, when we are talking about our study, the European AI regulation, which is dated from 2025. And here, the European AI regulation classifies AI systems for testing and learning and diagnostics as high-risk applications that are subject to a specific transparency, data protection, and supervisory obligations. And this means that if we are looking here at schools and at teachers, we are exactly in that field, and this means that we have to operate in a field where transparency and data protection is pretty much important. So, generative AI in teacher education starts from our position with the sentence that rapid diffusion of generative AI has transformed teacher education from a question of automation into one of pedagogical augmentation. So this means that the study has a specific focus. And this focus is that we want to examine how AI becomes educationally effective when it is orchestrated through theory-informed teaching and explores implications for teacher professionalization or professionalism, regulatory frameworks, and the curriculum development. To put this all together, we can say that we are drawing in our research actually on a mixed method approach and a mixed method design, which combines a qualitative study or a synthesis of AI applications, which means that we are looking into literature, what literature writes currently about these applications in schools, and we combine that with a national survey of German teachers, and we have 227 teachers on board, and we provided the survey to 250 teachers in total. So, with regard to the mixed method approach and our study on AI in teacher education in schools, we can dig a little bit deeper and say that the basis of our study, this is a literature review. And after that, we came up with the idea that could be to offer a more comprehensive, credible, and nuanced understanding of AI in education and teaching contexts. Our quantitative data about teachers and their knowledge and the use of AI in schools and for teaching preparations provide measurable trends and general overviews, while our qualitative approach, qualitative data, which are derived from a qualitative analysis of current research, not only in Germany but also all over the world, about AI tools in educational contexts. And this should add depth, context, and meaning to our research. So, let's start with an overview through the different steps of our research. Let's start with the literature review. And with the literature review, we have three parts which have to be mentioned. First of all, AI can be seen as a subject of learning, building AI literacy, and AI competency. So here, The teachers should be able to use AI systems in a didactically meaningful way, and also question them, the AI tools and the use of AI, critically. So next point, which we derive from our literature review, is that as AI can be seen as a teaching tool, and learning is possible with or through AI. So here in this context, we can state that Makransky et al. From 2025 were able to show that a theory-driven chat tutor system based on generative learning theory led to a deeper understanding and greater confidence in the learning processes than an unstructured ChatGPT prompting. And this is quite interesting because in many of the general discussions, there is a strict focus on how prompting could be enhanced. Last but not least, AI as a subject of professional and ethical reflection. So there is a part in literature which really focuses extremely on that fact, and schools and universities are thus obliged to ensure transparency mechanisms, data protection standards, and nevertheless also human oversight. And this can ensure that ethical reflection will take more place, and that is, on the one hand, the reflection about, is AI a tool which I or our group should use? Is AI a tool which should be used in education? And what do I have to have in mind if I use, or my group uses, AI in educational contexts? And are there any ethical restrictions? And how can we be aware of that? And how can we deal with that? Moreover, I go over to the insights into the results of our qualitative study, and with regard to that, we did a comparison of AI tools also based on literature elements, and also we had to have a closer look at their use in schools. So first of all, we can say that there is an increasing functional and didactic diversification of AI applications in school, and at least there can be distinguished the generative language models, which is ChatGPT, etc. Moreover, there can be adaptive learning tutoring systems. Some are focusing on automatic feedbacks and assessment tools. There is a possibility to use diagnostic AI as a diagnostic and analysis tool. Also, assistance systems for teachers can be based on AI. It is a possibility to make applications more accessible. And last but not least, it can be about getting a collaborative and AI environment. So these are the increasing functional elements. Moreover, we found that active and constructive prompts, regardless of in what learning medium, they are key predictors of the learning process. So it's important to look at the prompts. So as I said before, there is a huge discussion about that, but this is not all. Last but not least, AI-generated feedback improves the accuracy of self-assignment, assessment, and learning strategies, especially for learners with low self-esteem. To dig a little bit deeper, we can also say that about these functional perceptions and utilization trends, the teachers emphasize that there are limitations of automatic feedback. They think that automatic feedback does not only work on its own. So therefore, they primarily perceive the tool as an assistive system that can be customized or validated by themselves, by the teachers. So it's not that AI takes over the job of the teachers. It is an assisting tool which helps in some cases to provide feedback. If we have a closer look at educational potential and professionalization, we can find that the teachers say that AI applications are particularly beneficial when they are reducing routine tasks. And moreover, They should create a space for pedagogical interaction. Here we can say that the teachers report that AI is helpful in adapting tasks. They are adapting tasks, for example, to learning levels, to translation of materials, moreover to diagnosing the learning levels of the students. But at the same time, this potential can be realized through targeting, training, and AI literacy. So therefore, further education for teachers in the field of creating AI literacy becomes an important subject. Last but not least, if we have a closer look at the area of tensions and challenges, that teachers express that there is an uncertainty about the reliability and about the transparency of the AI outputs. So they are often talking about hallucination effects, and while they recognize that there are time savings and formal consistency, they are always a little bit confused how to deal with these elements of hallucination and also how they should deal with the ethical aspects. And therefore, they fear a decline of depth of content and authenticity. Moreover, it needs to have an ethical proof and a data protection system, or at least to refer to data protection issues when they're using AI, and this has to be viewed also critically, and they're doing that at the moment. So let's switch over to the results from our quantitative studies. So it was a questionnaire, and as I said, we provided it to 250 teachers, and we got a responding number of 227 teachers who gave us feedback. From these teachers, 49% were male and 50.1% were female. Moreover, you see here an age split, so we have different age ranges. So 22.5% were 20 to 29 years old, 30% who answered were between 30 and 39 years old, 40 to 49 years old were 28.6% of the teachers, and there were also 15% which were already 50 to 59 years old, and last but not least, 4% of the teachers who answered were already over 60 years old. So this led to the effect that they had already also different experiences in teaching. 22.5% had 5 years experience in teaching, 25.6% had 6 or 10 years of teaching experience, and 33% had 11 to 20 years of experience. Last but not least, 18.9% had already more than 20 years of teaching experience. And this is in total a lot. Nevertheless, we have to have a closer look. How familiar are they already with generative AI? Because having teaching experiences is not all. If you want to deal with AI, you have to have a closer look if you are familiar with that. And we can state that 11.9% said that they're familiar, and at least 28.6% said that they're at least rather familiar. So this has a cumulative percent of 40.5% who had the feeling that they are familiar, or at least rather familiar with AI, but this means that about 60% haven't. So let's have a closer look what they said. So we presented them different AI tools from ChatGPT up to Skywork. These are large language models which are focusing on text generating. There are some image creators like DALL-E or, for example, Midjourney or Imagen 3. There are also some which are focusing on sound and audio creation like Suno AI or SoundDraw or Phonic. Moreover, we provided them with tools which could help them to create videos or podcasts, so like Canva Video or Wondershare. And also we added some AI tools which are used for transcription like AllWrite, and another example for the creation of a podcast by an AI could be done with the AI tool Notebook LM. So this is just a rough overview. You can see all these AI tools here on the screen, and what we can say in total is that there is a difference between how much of the teachers know about that tool and how many of the teachers use this tool already in class. First of all, they know more tools than they're using. Moreover, they know many of the text-related tools. So especially Copilot and ChatGPT are used very often, and they are also very recognized. Nevertheless, we can see that if we are looking at the tools which are creating pictures or images, then it drops a little bit down, because DALL-E and Midjourney are only used in class by 30.6 or 16.7% of the teachers who answered, while Copilot was used by 64.8% of the teachers and ChatGPT by 52.4%. But this is also an interconnection effect, because Copilot and ChatGPT can also create pictures meanwhile, and are not only just text related. So that may be a reason for that. Nevertheless, if we are looking at sound or audio generation, it drops down really extremely, because only 3.5% of the teachers used, for example, Suno in their classes. And if we are going down to video or podcast generating tools, or transcription tools, they are really very rare in use. You see that, for example, Notebook LM, which I mentioned before, which is creating, can be used for creating, for example, podcasts. It's only used by 0.9% of the teachers, and this is not really a lot. So let's have a closer look of more general results. 50.1% of the German teachers stated that they think AI tools save time in lesson planning. Moreover, 65.6% of the respondents are skeptical about the impression that AI would provide creative ideas. Moreover, 64.8%, this is a majority of the German teachers, is afraid of a lack of reliability and accuracy of AI-generated content. And last but not least, 60.7% of the teachers pointed out that generative AI will become a standard tool for teaching in the future. And this means that they have to deal with that, and that it is important to get AI literacy, which corresponds to our results from the qualitative study. Last but not least, I'd like to present the core findings here. AI does not unfold its educational added value due to technology performance, but rather through embedding it in explanation-oriented didactic settings and learning processes. Although teachers are familiar with the key AI tools, they make only limited use of them in their teaching practice. So our qualitative finding made clear that this gap is based less on technological distance and more on uncertainties regarding reliability, transparency, and didactic responsibility. So in total, we can say that the effectiveness of AI in education is less a question of what is technologically possible than what is pedagogically responsible or sensible. So these are the core findings we have actually. I'm happy that you followed my talk. Here are again our contacts of me and my colleague Jan-Phillip Lüttke. Thank you for watching this video, and enjoy your site experiences in 2026. I'm happy that you heard my talk. Have a nice day and all the best to you all. Best wishes, yours, Marc Beutner.